Okay, so we'll do Cairo as the primary people. Cairo and Fast doing number 2, Marquez waste of effort. Cairo taking the for, Fast taking the against, and then EHEX number 5, Hex versus EHEX. Vibra taking the EHEX side, and Bean taking the PX side, and then whoever else wants to join another side, like we're talking about it, jump in with a point for either side. Feel free. How's that, Pedro, Tim?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you can kind of jump in on either of those topics?
Sure.
Does that work?
Yeah,
all right, we did it. We did it live. Okay, awesome. All right, maybe let's start off with the hex because I feel like the second part is going to take a little bit of time. We'll start off with the hex versus EHEX. We'll get a little bit into that. We'll see how much time we have. Again, I don't want to take much more time discussing logistics. Let's start off with EHEX versus PHEX. Vibra, what's your opening statement? Why EHEX? Why EHEX?
So first, EHEX was Richard's baby, right? It was the first project he launched, and it's always going to be his first. And last summer, Richard put out that tweet just stating that people seem to have chosen HEX on PulseChain, and I don't know why. A lot of people just decided that means Richard just killed EHEX. He hated it, and it dipped hard, and a lot of people got worried. And the day that happened, I told everybody, swap your HEX for EHEX. The ratio sank down to like 9-to-1. I said, don't worry about it. This is a FUD event. And sure enough, from there on out, EHEX has moved up now to about 3-to-1 against HEX. And I think just Richard, when he comes back, I don't see him being able to go and sit down in an interview and be able to talk about PulseChain when the first question someone asks or says is, hey, man, your first project HEX is down 99%. It sucks. Why? How's anyone going to, take you serious with your second one if your first one's down in the dumps? So I think he has to have EHEX succeed for just publicity and for, the success of PulseChain.
All right. PX side, who wants to beam?
I could take that point. Sure. So I would ask you, and I'd ask the audience out there, why would Richard Hart create PulseChain if HEX wasn't meant to be better on PulseChain? The only reason that PulseChain was even created was because he didn't have control over Ethereum. Ethereum's making decisions that weren't good for EHEX, that weren't good for the coins that the coin that Richard Hart first created, like you said. And so what does he have to do? He has to find a way to be able to build something that he knows is going to work forever into the future without anyone else having the ability to change that. And so that's why PulseChain came around. And I'm super bullish on PulseChain. I'm super bullish on HEX on PulseChain. And, what was the reasons that EHEX was having issues? Well, one, the end stake, which is one of EHEX's best features, right? Costs far too much, especially when ETH GUI is up really high to end a stake. And so you look at that compared to HEX on PulseChain, much better as far as ending stakes, and you're built in a completely integrated Richard Hart ecosystem. So he and his developers have the ability to control it in a much better way, where, again, Ethereum can make changes that could affect the coin and affect the end stake functionability even worse in the future. So I'm very much bullish on HEX. I'm not saying I don't like EHEX. It's not what I'm saying, but for this case, I would definitely say HEX on PulseChain is what Richard Hart created for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. All of that. I should have maybe phrased that. I think there might be a little bit more upside on EHEX this cycle. So that's why I kind of like it more, because of all the fudding and how down it got versus HEX, people calling it dead. And when that happens, typically there's an opportunity there, kind of like with PDI when it just died after all the Maria FUD and the Vietnamese guy FUD. What do you know? We're up 15x from that event. So when you see these events happen, a lot of people took the side that, oh wow, EHEX is dead now. And when the crowd is thinking something, usually the opposite is true, and there's more opportunity on that side. So I agree with you that PulseChain was created so we weren't getting destroyed on gas fees. The S load function, they increased that. That screwed us over 100%. But I just think, there could be a little bit more upside. And, if you did catch that ratio last summer at about 9-to-1, you've made about 66% of your HEX back on the other side. So it's been it's a very good opportunity if you know how to play the ratio trades. And this is, it's cryptocurrency, and where there's FUD and doom and gloom, there's always opportunity, which is why I love the space.
Yeah, and I think even now ratio trades are very can be very profitable within the HEX EHEX. They've been pretty much trading within a channel for a while now. But you just said that it went from like 9-to-1 to 3-to-1. So do you think now, if you were to put money into either HEX or EHEX, which is going to perform better from today, not better from the bottom?
I think EHEX is going to perform a little better because believe there's a little bit less liquidity. We still have room to grow against it. And I don't know. There's just something about the less liquidity. It can pump harder.
It can pump harder. I mean, sure, less liquidity, but we could see liquidity taken away from the HEX ecosystem as well before things pump. The other thing that I'd say is, we've seen the SAC address purchase 3 coins so far. HEX on PulseChain, Inc., and PulseX is not purchased EHEX. So if we think that more money is going to be pumped into coins, the only historical facts that we have right now is no money has been put into EHEX. And so that makes me think if Richard Hart isn't potentially as focused on that, because why would he be, right? He's focused on the ecosystem that he's created, PulseChain, which again perfects or makes HEX even better. Then I really do think it's going to have a better time in the sun this cycle. And I don't think that EHEX will do bad. I just think that HEX is definitely the better play from here on out, in my opinion.
Yeah, it'd be crazy to see the SAC address buying EHEX. However, if the liquidity bonding's there, that could, Richard even said it could get a free write-up type of deal. So I'm not sure if it neutralizes it, but it's kind of there is something else there with it too, I'll say.
And the other thing too is with Maria, all love him, hate him, regardless. I believe he's now top 5 holder of EHEX. So if he's this bad actor that is here to extract money from the chain, then EHEX is completely screwed because he is such a big holder. And I don't think he is a malicious actor. I think we're all being played, and he's going to be actually a good actor. So all the EHEX in his hands is going to be a good thing for the ecosystem.
And if you think about it, because you said something that I wanna continue the thought, which is the people that hold the coins, right? Because at the end of the day, it's the behavior of the people who hold the coins that decides the price action, right? So, and on that regard, if you think about it, HEX is kind of like the face of the Richard Hart ecosystem on Ethereum, right? And there's a lot of buying power in Ethereum that won't come to PulseChain, right? Whether we like it or not, right? Because there's people like us, right? They like one chain and they want to stick to that chain, right? So Ethereans, there's a lot of rich Ethereans. I would say it's probably the network with the most rich people, right? So it does have a good opportunity there, I think. And I do think that it will spill over into, PHEX, right? But I do agree with Vibra that, at the end of the day, it's a matter of liquidity and buyers, right? And sellers, obviously. But when the market is pumping, like, we don't really need to worry about sellers that much. So, yeah, I do think that EHEX, because of that, will pump harder, I guess.
DJ, Tim, last words on this before we move on to the marketing?
No, let's move on.
Just one comment that I think might be relevant. Which one does the guy with the 100,000 ETH like better? I think that
he is holding ETH fast.
He's holding ETH, exactly, literally.
Exactly. He walked into that one.
Curious about his opinion, though.
Yeah.
Sure. Based on his actions and words thus far, it seems like the HEX built on his ecosystem and for his ecosystem has been more of a focus for him. Absolutely.
Great conversation, Dennis. This will be till the end of time. We'll be talking about EHEX versus PX. Why not? Let's do it. It gets the people going. Let's do it. Yes. However, moving on, we got room for one other topic here. Marketing is a waste of money and effort. That was proposed by Mr. Cairo, and I think Fast had the first opposing view of it. But Cairo, you want to make your position?
Well, I've ranted about this on my streams ad nauseum here, so I'm curious to see what the pro argument is. So I want to yield more time over to Mr. Abdul.
Okay.
All right.
Well, my position is that PulseChain has everything it needs to dominate, has blazing speed, cheap transactions, and the community basically never shuts up, but only to itself. We're stuck in an echo chamber, high-fiving each other while the rest of crypto doesn't know we exist. We can't build the momentum we need if all you're doing is retweeting each other to each other. Attention is the oxygen of adoption on blockchain. And right now we're suffocating in silence. So if we want devs, users, and capitals to show up, we need to break out, speak up, and market like we mean it. Otherwise, we'll just keep being right, but irrelevant.
And
Can I say
Fast,
something? Fast, just a question. But sure. Don't you think that the adoption, the lack of the lack of adoption that we have is because of the price? Isn't it super simple like that?
That's certainly part of it, right? But like if I were to speak to somebody on the street, like chances of them knowing what HEX PulseChain even was would be like tiny, right? Whereas like we could look at something like Ethereum, Bitcoin, like those are obviously the big ones, but like without the actual exposure to people, especially people who are already in the industry, but also the new money, which is going to be the big money because most money is not in blockchain. I just don't think we're going to get the adoption we need.
But my question was more like imagine you're a new buyer, not you, but you show PulseChain to a new buyer, right? They talk about the ecosystem, etc. When you show them the chart, what will they do? Will they buy the chart, or will they just be like, "Oh shit, I'm not going to buy this shit," right? Because it's
that's just showing the chart, right? So, but like if you don't tell the story of the chart, if you don't give them the reason that they should participate, that's what marketing's for, right? It has to give you the feature, but also the benefits of the feature, and like. The chart right now, like I could say the feature was the price is really low. The benefit is that you're likely to be able to absorb that price appreciation when like all these other things happen, right? So like, but like without that story, if you just show them the chart without the marketing, you're not going to get adoption.
let me ask Mr. Abdul one more question here, and then I'll present my side of the argument. Fast, what kind of marketing do you think is going to do the trick and have the result that we want? And also, like, what results do you think we'll get from this marketing tactic?
Well, as far as marketing goes, like most good marketing plans have multiple points of contact, right? So when we're talking about like postcards 2.0, or what I believe it's going to be that Richard's been talking about, I think that's only step one of a good marketing plan. So I think he's targeting boomers, like, people over 50, which are crypto boomers anyway, who are the people who still have the money. And I think that's part of it, but it has to be combined with other efforts, online efforts, deck screener efforts, like all the regular things, right? We have our social platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, whatever, in combination with live in person. You've received a package in the mail, and it talks to you and maybe has a screen. Maybe it says, "Hello, Richard Hart here." And, I think the combination of several efforts together could result in the ultimate never before seen marketing plan.
Okay. Can I add something to that as well? I think we want to do the hard marketing. We want to target people who are not yet in crypto. I remember when in around the Trump election, the Trump coin and the Melania coin launched. All that needed was a bit of twittering, retweeting, and a celebrity involved, of course. And everybody that was already in crypto jumped over to Solana and bought that coin up. Like, that's in a way easy to do and doesn't need any marketing, and that's probably what can be classed here as a waste of money. But I think we don't want to do the same thing. We want to be different from other crypto communities as well. So I think we should go after people who are not yet in crypto and teach them and show them about the benefits of this trustless DeFi that we have mastered over here. And
that's
as
where the big
Abdul
money
said,
is
nobody knows that yet.
All right, let me make the counter argument. Max, am I able to share my screen?
Boom, whenever you want to.
All right. So here's what I want to do here. I'm going to show a couple of things here to like make my side of the argument. So over at reinventideal.com, my business, I deal with troubled young men. And a big thing that's troubling them is they feel completely left out of the dating markets, because when we look at dating apps, basically what we have is dating apps that don't offer any dates. Check this out here. This is the price chart for Match Group. Why did it go from 182 all the way down to 32? It's because it's not delivering what it's meant to deliver. This is supposed to be providing guys with a service here to meet women, and it's not doing that. Like, several messages they send out get left on scene or go unreturned. If we are going to be doing a mass marketing campaign for a coin that is supposed to be providing financial freedom, but all they see is an ecosystem where there's lots of infighting, people are cheating out after every 10% pump, we're down a great deal here, they're going to be like, no, this thing is not going to do what they say it's going to do. Now, I would argue against them saying, well, no, wait a minute. It has done this. It's done a 10,000x in the past. And right now you have the opportunity to buy it at a very low price. And if you saw what I presented earlier today here, you know, it's capable of a lot more and it's going to do a lot more. That requires a great ingestion of financial and investment literacy that I can't fit into a marketing message here. But another problem that we face, marketing right now is a terrible idea, because if you saw my stream on this chart right here, the United States is in a recession. 39 out of the 50 states are all reporting negative GDP for Q1. The Q2 numbers won't come out for another 3 months, but I'm suspecting that it's similar to this here. And when you talk to the average person, they're struggling right now with the past wave of inflation that we had. They ain't got the money to invest in safe bets, which is why we are seeing the 10-year treasury at 4.43%. Even a great yield like that on a supposed guarantee investment, if it was able to attract money, well, then the yield would come down. So they're not even willing to do that. And you think that a country that's in recession is going to also take a gamble on something that just has a history of providing financial freedom for a small select few one time, and is supposed to do it again. That's just a big ask that we're making of people, especially right now with this chart here, the dollar index being at 98.10. See, when we have bull runs, this dollar index is closer to 90, and when we get a Fed chair that's going to stop cock blocking the bull run and is actually going to buy some treasuries and push down that treasury yield, then yeah, we're going to get that bull run. That was the subject of my talk earlier. But until then, we're really just advertising people to like come to this resort that just got wrecked by a hurricane. We're in the middle of repairing it here. And yeah, you'll get a discount on your stay, but are you really going to enjoy your stay? I think that's too much of an ask to make. And the better thing to do here is, like, instead of spending money on a piece of marketing material, hoping that the right person sees it and hoping that they take the right action, why don't you just do the right action yourself and instead spend that money on buying the coins, because your purchase order is guaranteed to push the price up.
Interesting points. I think the green candles could definitely be an effective part of marketing plan, especially if they're timed with, like 10 million mailers going out. If when the people open those mailers, they click the link, whatever it is, they see some green candles. That could be effective marketing. As far as the, the recession thing, like valid points there to be sure. But I think PulseChain can tie into some things that will possibly be somewhat recession resistant. The two things that come to mind that do well in recessions are like do-it-yourself stuff, right? Like, build your own deck, that sort of thing, and education. And I think PulseChain, as far as DeFi goes, that definitely fits into the do-it-yourself category. And as far as education, we're really all about that as a community. Like, like we had like 2 hours today where we were talking about longevity and stuff like that. Like, it's not just about PulseChain. It's about a combination of community and self-improvement, as well as like self-custody of your funds, not your keys, not your crypto. And PulseChain carries all those ethos with it.
Real quick on Kyra's point, I think I'm trying to get to a piece of what you're saying too. Do you think that once the macros and all that stuff line up, that the marketing will work? It's just not the right time for marketing? Is that
the big point I want to make is that it's a bad idea right now, because even if we were able to get new money to come into our ecosystem, there are such massive macroeconomic forces that are pushing prices down and keeping them suppressed. Now, let's suppose that we're in good macroeconomic conditions. I don't know that marketing like mailers or whatever is going to be the catalyst to get green candles, because like once the negative macroeconomic forces turn positive, we're going to get green candles anyway. And those green candles produce more green candles because they are the best form of marketing. People want confirmation bias. They want to buy tops. They want to buy things that they see it going up. And also, like right now, we have a great piece of marketing material. We got the best movie that was ever made for the cryptocurrency space, and you can actually see it for free right now on YouTube. I mean, I'm sure that the creators don't want you to, but somehow somebody put it up there. And I share that with everybody that has got questions about cryptocurrency, especially when they see some of these altcoins post new tops. I'm like, here, watch this. This is a crash course to help you understand it. But still, that's not sparking things up here because those macro forces are keeping us down.
Yeah. I just want to say, too, with all these people, too, that are going to get these mailers, if they don't know what PulseChain is, they do. Some of them look into it and say, oh, man, this thing is down forever. This thing sucks. As long as that mailer, it gets people's attention and they remember PulseChain, as long as we start pumping hard, all those people that just remembered PulseChain, it's going to come back to them. And they'll say, oh, wait a minute, isn't that the thing that I got? And it'll just spark people getting interested again. So at least if a lot of people can see PulseChain, it sticks in their brain. We start pumping like crazy. A good majority of them have to start looking at it again or something. So I think, it'll be a good thing.
If you also wait too
takes
long
4 to 7 times, like 4 to 7 visual impressions or auditory impressions for it to stick in somebody's head and for them to be more likely to interact with the product.
And if you wait for better,
is that with the video message though, or is that with regular just mailers? Because you had a 40-second video message that has something really good in there that is like, wow, that was really well done, and it's makes you want to watch it again. I think that could be maybe better.
If it's sticky and it sits on their coffee table for 3 months, like that one thing could be count as 7 times, right?
Last thing I'd argue about all this here, because repetition theory is true, but in addition to like good marketing, getting the eyeballs, getting in front of eyeballs multiple times, getting that repetition going, we also need an easier way to buy the coins, because doing it the way that it's meant to be done right now requires multiple steps, and it does require a lot more intelligence. Like, we take it all for granted because we do it every day, but the person who's never touched a hot wallet before or even knows what one is, it's a great big ask that we're asking them to do when they've never done anything like this before. So I do think that in addition to marketing, if we're going to do that, probably what we should prioritize first is get an easier way to buy the coins, like a major exchange listing or something that just reduces the number of clicks.
Yeah, we need one.
Yeah, a good one, like one of the top 5. That would change the game dramatically.
Exactly.
Did any of this finance stuff is true? Oh.
I'm going to make a prediction. I think when we have the price is 10x, we're going to have 10x more people knocking on the door. Doesn't matter how hard it is. Doesn't matter if they have to do 20 fucking steps to get here. Doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the price going up. People will find a way to come here. That's it. It's as simple as that.
Not only that, but we're getting more and more interest in protocols that are truly decentralized. Like PulseX, you can run on your own computer. You can run it on your own laptop. You can run it on your own device. You don't have to go through a secondary party. So that provides sort of security that you don't get on a lot of chains. And
is that good marketing though? It's cool, but is it marketing? I find that.
You have to market that. The other thing that maybe we don't have yet, but we do have a mixer, but we need some more privacy opportunities for privacy exchange, right? Like be able to make transactions a little bit more zero proof knowledge privacy things, right? We see this happening on other chains. I think it's something that we're missing a little bit here, but we at least have already the decentralized nature, and that is something that I think is important to market.
Jets, I think we've warmed the people up. They want to see more debates. Debate season. We're going to keep debating.
Education.
Education, edutainment. Yeah, this is in the private chat too. If you guys feel compelled to want to elaborate more in longer form with these debates, be happy to host some more non-cage matches. Which is pretty good conversation, pretty fun.
Debate conference.
What is it?
I said you can have a whole debate
conference. Oh, debate con. Debate con. Interesting. Don't tempt me on that. Don't tempt me. Yeah, if I'm not much into this in the centralized exchanges, but we get a top 5 SEX coming. If we get the big B, the Binance, or we get anybody that has any volume in the interaction ecosystem, or if RH buys one, that's explosions keep coming to mind on that. But gents,